Brake pads, one of the most crucial parts on a car and common wear and tear items. Simply put, they make your car stop. Kinda like how as a kid when your bike's brakes don't work and then you use your foot brake. Don't know how that analogy works, but I featured it anyway. Great writing. Yes, brilliant. The Suzuki Swift Sport ZC32S, a vehicle with good handling prowess. One of the nice features of this car is how competent the braking system is from factory. The brake pads on this car are bitey, confident, and can take punishment even on a racetrack. Here on my lovely Swift Sport, however, I picked up the car off aftermarket brake pads. Now while there are good aftermarket brands for brake pads, the ones on this car were beyond junk. Not to mention, the dealership that I bought it from didn't even bother to put the factory pads on. The fronts, although still meaty, had terrible brake pedal feel, and I could hear and feel them digging into my disc with less than desirable brake dust. The rears, funny enough, even after googling, I couldn't figure out what brand they were, and besides that, they just weren't up to snuff. It was at that point that I sat down and I decided that I'm going to change the brake pads all round. Now, I could have gone the obvious route and go factory specs, since the factory specs Swift Sport pads are actually not that expensive actually. So this video is pretty much over now then, so hey, let's just slowly fade out and then... Hey, we're not done yet, let's continue. However, I wanted to try something a bit different, and then I heard a few good reviews as well as good words from some mates about LMB Euroseals brake and clutch components, so yeah, let's talk about them for a little bit. Who or what is LMB Euroseals? LMB Euroseals is a brake and clutch component manufacturer based in sunny South Africa. They manufacture brake components such as clutch kits, repair kits for brake calipers, rubber seals for said components, brake pads, and a myriad of other components in that sphere. They relocated from Europe in 1997 to South Africa. It's a family-owned and run business in Stratham Park, Randburg. They're dedicated to growing the South African manufacturing to a point where they can compete globally, and not only that, they promote green initiatives too. All this without breaking the bank. They're one of the largest aftermarket caliper seal providers in the EU, plus they've worked with local performance brake manufacturers with components even used on Dakar rally cars. Personally, I hadn't heard of LMB before, but after some research and a bit of thought, I decided, hey, let me give their brake pads a shot and ordered front and rear OEM matched low metallic pads for my Suzuki. I paid for my pads and fetched them from the Stratham Park warehouse. Now came the matter of fitment, and I don't know how to fit brake pads myself, so I contacted Phat Ratchet Motorworks to handle that job for me. Check it out, quick jack makes all the difference. Pads fitted, tested out, and 7 months have passed, and I am ready to talk about what I feel about them. Right off the bat, these are decent pads. They're way better than what I had before on the car, and they've been reliable thus far. So let me get into what I think and what you should take into account when I basically spew what I'm going to spew now. So yeah, there you go. Right, so check this. These pads are engineered to match OE specs. They're low metallic grade, and that's what's available for my vehicle, as my brake pad design is shared with other vehicles. These pads are epoxy coated with proper backing, along with them being a soft compound. The purpose of these brake pads is for normal driving conditions, with some light-spirited driving thrown into the mix. They're not made for track purposes, and strictly not for track purposes. The friction coefficient is one of which aims to be gentle to the disc to prolong the lives of the disc as well as the pads. Bit-in procedure is the same as any other brake pads, and with that being said, let's get into what I think. Right, over the past 7 months, I haven't had issues with these pads. I have punished them as well as been kind to them too. There's no weird noises or squealing. The pedal feel is good, and these pads are gentle to the disc, which is as a result of the friction coefficient. So yay, my discs are happy compared to the monstrosities that I had on before, especially in the front. And they definitely do stop the vehicle nicely. However, as far as OE matching goes, they're close to the factory Suzuki pads, although I feel the Suzuki pads bite a lot harder. You especially feel that within the pedal. While the LMB pads are consistent and at the same time kind to my disc, I do wish I had a bit more bite from them. The brake bias for the Swift Sport is more focused to the front of the vehicle. So with my kind of driving style, I'm almost halfway finished with my front pads as a result. However, these pads do have a lovely party piece though, of which I will share towards the end of the video. Okay, so I think we can get to the party piece of these pads and we will get into the... What the hell is that noise? Hey, brother, what's happening? How's it? Who are you?
Chill. It's me, brother. It's me.
Me who?
They call me Sizwe the Flop Master.
Is that a middle name that Home Affairs just happened to accept because they were just tired that day?
You like chirping, don't you? You've got a mouth.
Like every other human, I have a mouth. But more importantly, why and how did you get in here? Please tell me. I'd like to know.
Yeah, I heard you reviewing car parts. Otherwise, what's happening here?
Wow, so this is what popularity is like. People just invite themselves in. But yeah, I'm actually reviewing these things right here. These brake pads, if you're interested in that.
Oh, will these fit my ST?
No, these specific ones are for my Suzuki Swift Sport. So different kind of pad, you know, setup, compound and all those things, and you know, it takes a little bit.
That's what you got after your 5-year plan. That's what my chick drives at gym. She drives a Suzuki.
Let me put these down. 5-year plan for who?
Bruh, you see, when you graph proper, you get yourself an Fiesta ST or you get yourself a 135i. You see, my chick at gym, my chick Tayeedz. You see, that's why I'm even big in the first place. She likes that ST. That's why I got it proper. You see, I need some proper track pads. That's what my bro at the workshop even tunes.
Let's see here. So you gave your honey at gym one ride, count them, one ride in your ST after she showed you how to squat your legs properly because you probably had an alternative agenda for all we know, and then she's immediately yours? Aren't you a gentleman, why don't you? But that's beside the point. You see, these pads right here, these are meant more for normal driving conditions. They're not track pads by any stretch of the word. And even I was told this as well. So if you want to get track pads, you have to worry about, you know, temperatures you're going to be building up in the pads to get them to actually work and everything in between. It's just not a fun ride.
Yeah. Brother, listen. Let me give you my number. You can call my bra's workshop when you get something proper. We'll put box and bangs and alles, all the things in there. Yonkinto. But for now, pre-workout's kicking in, so cheers, come on.
What was that all about? What was that all about? Okay, anyways, back to the script. Right, so let's get into the costing of the pads right here. So back in February 2020, I paid for these pads all around, that's all four corners of this vehicle. I paid 470 Rand. I'm not even joking, that's how much I paid for these pads. Dude, for normal driving conditions, that's pricing you can't beat. You really can't. Especially for the value that you're getting, like, bruv, for real. So let me conclude by saying this. It was cool trying something different from the usual automotive stores. If you want brake pads for your daily car for normal driving, then I do recommend getting these LMB puppies. It is a softer pad compound compared to the harder factory Swift one, but it worked well. And I mean, if LMB is keen on doing a more street performance orientated brake pad with, let's say, about a medium compound or something along those lines, then best know I am keen to try them out. A big thank you to Phat Ratchet Motorworks for working on my vehicle. If you need any general automotive maintenance as well as brakes and suspension, you can find them on Facebook. Also, thank you to LMB Euroseals for being upfront, honest, and supplying me with the parts I needed for my vehicle. Links to the two businesses in the description below. I think that's pretty much it, so that's all she wrote. TayeedzSA here, and I will be seeing y'all around. Shap.